Come, Lord, our Savior, be here in our presence. Fill us with your power. Live inside of us. That you be the air we breathe during this assembly. Greetings. I am Pastor Rich and the pastor at St. Thomas Lutheran Church in Charlotte, North Carolina. A little bit about the place and the space where I can testify is a welcoming congregation and a true image of, by grace, all of God's people at God's final heavenly banquet. We are a small congregation, but a community of all backgrounds, cultures, and people of color. Yes, a heavenly banquet right here on earth. Imagine that. Which brings me to why I am speaking today on behalf of the North Carolina African Descent Strategy Team. Our call embraces the promise that by grace, all of God's people will be at the final heavenly banquet. And we remain committed to engaging the church and the North Carolina Synod in exploring ways to live out that promise now through the power of the Holy Spirit. With the foundation in 2003, the team adopted the mission statement, preparing for the heavenly feast, all races, one church. What does that mean? It means as a team, number one, working on ministry opportunities that bring about a change in the current landscape we see around us. Number two, encouraging innovative and creative methodologies with promoting the ministries of existing predominantly African descent congregations in the North Carolina Synod. Number three, partnering with advocates of African descent ministries. And number four, which is so important to changing the landscape, supporting predominantly Caucasian congregations in their efforts to be in a ministry with people and communities of African descent. A call for vitality, inclusion, diversity, and yes, justice. The way we view our values and the way we approach them has deepened our strategy in light of the events that have taken place over this past year. The events of this past year has changed how we have conversation with one another. I have to say at times, God brings about a change to bring about a change. And now more than any space in my lifetime, this is an opportunity for our team, our churches, and our Synod leadership to bring about a change to create the image of all races, one church. I witnessed this space 47 years ago that still exists in our communities today. The space was the peak of desegregation in schools in Nashville, Tennessee. I was bused from my neighborhood where traditions live to a high school 30 miles away to an unfamiliar population. The majority of the students did not accept me, and the majority of the staff did not know how to exist in my presence. But over time and before I graduated, we learned how to become a community where we respected one another. Respect is the key action to inviting all of God's people to the final heavenly banquet. And the question I would like you to consider as I close is, how can these things be? Why cannot a seat at the table not be determined by race? Why cannot all within my voice live out the promise now through the power of the Holy Spirit, all races, one church? Now, in the North Carolina Assembly of all God's people, move from the water cooler conversations on race and justice with faith and action to move towards creating the kingdom Jesus came to build. Now is the time to get on board with the African Descent Strategy Team to change the landscape so that all people are welcome, that we become all races, one church. Thank you.